SNAP myself, and I know how it is.
Tonight, people who depend on federal food aid in the West brace for a November without benefits. Despite new court rulings, the Trump administration must keep the assistance program running.
Administration complies with the order, which they haven't said they're going to do yet. The earliest that we'll start to see that, if they turn it on in full, would be later next week.
Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Crystal Bailey. Funding for the SNAP program dries up tonight, but this morning, 2 judges ordered the Trump administration to use emergency funds to keep the program running. The Trump administration argued it could not tap Agriculture Department reserves for the food program unless Congress passes a budget. And when asked today whether it's possible to find the money to keep programs running during a government shutdown, the president said, quote, "There always is." But he did not lay out a plan to do that. He suggested the best way to keep SNAP running is for Democrats to agree to a Republican plan to reopen the government.
I'm always going to meet. All they have to do is open up the country. Let them open up the country, and we'll meet. We'll meet very quickly. But they have to open up the country. It's their fault. Everything is their fault. It's so easily solved.
And Democrats insist a deal to get the government running again must include an extension of expiring Obamacare subsidies to prevent skyrocketing health care premiums.
Standing on the side of the health care of everyday Americans is the right place to be. Fighting to make sure that no one in this country, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, should go hungry in America. That's not a partisan issue. It's the right place to be.
8 Western states and others across the country were involved in one of the lawsuits over SNAP funding. Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman spoke with Washington's Attorney General about how long it could take for SNAP recipients to see accounts replenished if the Trump administration obeys today's rulings.
These started popping up during the pandemic. They're little wooden boxes filled with food and a whole lot of kindness. But now, as a federal judge orders the government to keep the SNAP benefits funded and going, well, neighbors are returning back to these little wooden boxes to help each other get by.
On this quiet South Seattle street, it's what's inside this wooden box that's making the biggest impact.
So we just moved in 2 years ago, almost exactly, and it was already here. So we've just been keeping it going since then. Yeah.
Ali Thomas says he and his family are keeping the little free pantry stocked as more people are struggling to get by.
I was excited about the opportunity to make a difference, and you know, I brought this down this morning already. I filled it up this morning already. You know, I see food's been taken, and so it feels great.
His act of kindness causes two federal judges ruled the Trump administration must continue funding SNAP benefits during the government shutdown.
In our case, the judge said very clearly that the administration was violating the law.
One judge ordered the administration to figure out how to restore SNAP funds by Monday. In Rhode Island, another judge demanded the money start flowing immediately.
You know, there's almost 1 million people in Washington who get these benefits. That includes 300,000 Washington children that depend on food assistance to eat, to be healthy, to be able to go to school and live their lives. And so I hope it is a relief for them that this money should get turned back on to them in the near term.
While this is a big win for Washington families and others across the country, help may still take a few days to reach everyone.
When do we anticipate SNAP beneficiaries to see that money hit their debit cards?
The administration complies with the order, which they haven't said they're going to do yet, but assuming they comply with the judge's very clear ruling in Rhode Island, they should turn on that money immediately. Now, administratively, it may take some time for that money to be distributed. And in our case, you know, the earliest that we'll start to see that, if they turn it on in full, would be later next week.
The delay may still be leaving many families with empty refrigerators, but neighbors like Ali will keep doing what he can.
I should be thanking you for accepting the gift that I have for you. So please honor me by accepting what I'm trying to give to you.
In Seattle, I'm Alejandra Guzman.
And on this Halloween night, people in one Phoenix neighborhood are handing out more than just candy. They've turned the trick-or-treating tradition into an opportunity to distribute canned goods and other non-perishables.
On SNAP myself, and I know how it is.
Our tax dollars don't aid us. The money we are owed doesn't make it to us, but your neighbor is still there, and people care so much more than people think they do.
The idea of distributing food in this neighborhood on Halloween happened before the government shutdown. People involved in the effort say the expiration of SNAP benefits made their project feel more urgent. And grocery companies fear the battle over expiring food aid will lead to their drop in their November sales. Walmart says about 26% of SNAP spending happens in its stores. And Dollar General and Dollar Tree are other major chains at risk of seeing a noticeable downturn in sales. The United Food and Commercial Workers Union worries a business downturn will limit hours for workers and lead to cutbacks in wages. Now, our coverage of this government shutdown and the impact on federal food aid continues online. You can just head over to westcoastwrap.com. Our digital coverage includes details of how companies like Instacart and DoorDash are offering new discounts to SNAP recipients. Well, Salt Lake City leaders are questioning the tactics ICE agents used to arrest a woman in Salt Lake City International Airport. Mayor Erin Mandelhall says she's watched videos of the incident circulating online, as well as body cam footage from a responding Salt Lake City police officer. ICE agents say the 39-year-old woman from El Salvador was in the country illegally and part of a targeted enforcement operation. The mayor says the city has requested additional information about the incident. One thing she wants to know is why the agents were not wearing any form of identification. She issued a statement on the detainment saying, in part, "This incident has had a major impact on our community. What I do know is that nothing about this incident, like so many ICE operations, makes me feel safer as an American." The Salt Lake City Council has also issued a statement saying, "Incidents like this create fear and uncertainty in our community. Salt Lake City remains committed to treating everyone in our community with respect and dignity to the full extent of our power." The leader of the Latino community group, Utah Zolanos, is worried public arrests like this can happen to anyone at any time.
I think what happened, what did this woman, I don't know, for tomorrow maybe my neighbor or my son, my friend.
Local police officers are prohibited from interfering in federal immigration activities. ICE agents say they plan to hold the woman in custody until she is deported to her home country. And over 24 people were arrested by ICE agents about 30 miles south of Portland in Woodburn, Oregon. According to an immigrant justice group, it's the largest immigration raid this year. Fox 12's Leslie Dominique spoke with a witness who recorded some of the enforcement operation.
We're here off of First Street in Woodburn, where on Thursday, a local resident recorded video of a man allegedly being detained by federal agents. We reached out to both ICE and Customs and Border Patrol to determine their involvement, but neither have responded. One immigrant rights coalition claims that 31 people in Woodburn alone were detained on Thursday.
Stay back, stay back, stay back.
It's like if you get kidnapped, you just, nobody knows what happened to you unless somebody's seen it.
Just before 6 a.m. on Thursday, Woodburn resident Cesar Batista recorded this video of what he believed were federal agents taking a man into custody. Batista tells Fox 12 the man detained was headed to work.
I just seen them throw the guy out of the car, like 5 officers or agents on top of him. And I was just telling the guy that was getting detained just to like relax. That way they don't go too far.
In a press conference Friday, immigrant justice group Oregon for All alleged that 31 immigrants were detained by federal agents in Woodburn Thursday, calling it the largest immigrant raid in the state this year. The group says since October 15th, at least 200 immigrant Oregonians have been arrested. Reina Lopez, president and executive director of PICUN, Oregon's farm worker union, says those detained in Woodburn Thursday were taken from locations near construction services and farm worker housing off Pacific Highway East.
These were mostly breadwinners. They were on their way to work early in the morning. They were dropping off their families to school. They were trying to make their daily bread.
Innovation Law Lab and Clear Clinic filed a habeas petition to challenge the legality of 5 of those detainments. Lopez reported that 2 people would be returning to their families Friday. The Woodburn School District sent a statement home to families Thursday, acknowledging the presence of federal agents in the area and reaffirming that they will uphold Oregon's sanctuary laws, saying they will not assist federal agents.
These Oregonians are essential workers who wake up every day to feed and care for their families, and they're being taken from our communities.
While videos of alleged immigrant raids in the area circulate on social media, some residents say families should not have to question their safety.
I understand the intent of wanting to make our country controllable. I think the intent's good, but I think the follow-through has been off mark. That's what I feel in my heart. I hope we can come up with a solution where people have dignity and are treated with dignity.
The Woodburn Police Department and Marion County Sheriff's Office both tell Fox 12 that they had no involvement in the alleged raids. For now, reporting in Woodburn, Leslie Dominique, Fox 12 Oregon.
A trial over President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon wrapped today. The federal judge handling this case expects to issue a ruling this weekend. Attorneys for the city and state are attempting to block the Trump administration from deploying troops, arguing they are not needed. Justice Department attorneys have suggested Portland police officers are not doing enough to protect the ICE facility in Portland and that National Guard troops are needed to help keep the area safe. Well, people started recording when they spotted smoke billowing from a refinery in New Mexico today. Coming up, investigators try to figure out what led up to an explosion that injured 3 people.
And a live look at Seattle as we have a flood and wind advisory on the way. A very rainy Pacific Northwest Halloween.
Lasted and the windows shook so hard on the house and we didn't know what it was until we heard the roar of an airplane.
70 years ago, a dynamite explosion crashed a plane in Colorado. Tonight, people who witnessed the tragedy share their experience ahead of a memorial to honor the lives lost. Well, 3 people were injured in an explosion at an oil refinery in New Mexico. Video from Storyful shows the huge plume of black smoke rising from the H.F. Sinclair Navajo refinery in Artesia. It happened at around 11 in the morning today, and police say emergency crews extinguished the flames. Officials say air monitoring showed no risk to public safety in the area. The cause of the explosion is under investigation. And 6 people who died at a dairy farm in Colorado were exposed to hydrogen sulfide gas. The Weld County coroner determined the cause of death from August's incident northeast of Denver after evaluating autopsy results and toxicology tests. Hazards involving gases in confined spaces are well known in the farm and dairy industries. Operators of this dairy and federal workplace safety authorities have said little about what went wrong in this case. And tomorrow marks 70 years since a United Airlines flight was bombed, flying over Longmont, Colorado, on its way to Portland, Oregon. A memorial to those who died will be dedicated on the tragic anniversary of the bombing, which killed all 44 people on board. In 1955, Lakewood resident John Gilbert Graham confessed to attaching 25 sticks of dynamite to a timer in his mother's luggage. He planned to collect life insurance on her death. The bombing happened over Conrad Hopp's home, an 18-year-old at the time who witnessed the crash. Today, Hopp says the memorial is long overdue.
We're all forgotten about, and they shouldn't have been, because respect just for the families that are alive, you know, should have should know what happened to their loved one.
The president of the Denver Police Museum spearheaded the effort to create a memorial to mark the first confirmed case of sabotage against a commercial U.S. airliner. It will be placed at the air traffic control tower of the city's former airport in Denver. A separate memorial at the crash site in Weld County is also in the works. And sheriff's deputies outside Denver say bystanders engaged in an all-out brawl to stop suspected shoplifters. Fox 31's Greg Nieto spoke to one man who got involved.
Like most days at 3 p.m., Dry Creek Liquors does brisk business. Just 24 hours earlier, Arapahoe County Sheriff deputies say 2 alleged shoplifters were interested in the shoplifting side of the aisle. When store employees tried to stop them, the male and female suspects allegedly tried to hit them with their car and used pepper spray.
You look really tough while you're getting this.
2 doors down at White Lotus Custom Tattoo, Mike Nichols was minding his own business.
There was a fight going on outside.
And then decided to take the parking lot business into his own hands.
The male and the female were pretty bent on causing some chaos.
The retired professional fighter with a black belt in jiu-jitsu says a confrontation, then fight between the suspects and store personnel outside soon moves back inside.
Started tearing stuff off the shelves and throwing cans and bottles.
When the brawl bounces back out to the black top, Nichols decides it was time to make his move.
The guys shoved one of the other guy, and then punches started getting thrown. And so I felt it would be good just to isolate the threat and separate everybody. So I grabbed the guy who was throwing the punches and just put him to the ground and held him until police arrived.
Sheriff deputies able to take the 31-year-old male and 21-year-old female suspects into custody, and then discover a cat in the suspect vehicle, turned over to Centennial Animal Services.
I'm comfortable and confident with my ability to control a situation.
Satisfied he was able to put his mark on the Centennial Strip Mall mayhem.
You bring alcohol or liquor stores, into the equation, it leaves room for some fireworks.
And that was Fox 31's Greg Nieto reporting. The sheriff's office has not disclosed the charges the suspected shoplifters will face. A lot of people are working umbrellas into their Halloween costumes in the Pacific Northwest. You can take a live look now at Seattle, where it's been raining since this afternoon. You can see it looks pretty hazy out there. An atmospheric river is expected to bring heavy rain to the region late tonight and tomorrow. We're bringing in KTVU's Devin Truby. She's tracking that Halloween weekend forecast across the West. Devin?
Yeah, Crystal, 6 years living in Washington, I can tell you I never had a warm Halloween. Unfortunately, that's what folks are experiencing as well. That atmospheric river also triggering a flood advisory and a wind advisory that's going to go into effect in the early morning hours for Saturday and last until the early morning hours of Sunday. Seattle today, their high only 55 degrees, and some of that rain for Seattle is going to last all the way through midweek, and then it is also going to make its way down to us. As we take a look at the picture of Seattle earlier today, it was very clear, but unfortunately did not stay that way for trick-or-treaters. Now here closer to home, we have beautiful trick-or-treating weather at 68 degrees for our high today in San Francisco. And then as we take a look at Phoenix, 88. It's a nice 20-degree difference, huh? As we take a look, and we also, of course, have Los Angeles with a nice look over 80 degrees there, plenty warm. Southern California, actually, that system is what's making San Francisco have a warm weekend as well. As we take a look outside here, our current temperatures right now, the 50s along the coastline, about 64 in Reno, 75 in Las Vegas, as we have this storm system that's going to be impacting the Pacific Northwest and then eventually make its way down to California later in the week. You can see those spots of some heavy rainfall with the atmospheric river. As we play this system out, it's going to be along the Pacific Northwest for the entire weekend. It is also going to rain into Monday and Tuesday as well before some of that rain heads towards California for the midweek portion Wednesday and Thursday. This is a low that's coming off Alaska, so it's also cooling our temperatures for everyone more towards your seasonal norms as you make your way towards the end of the work week. Rainfall forecast with that system, we are looking at a potential close to an inch for most locations by the time that system is said and done, at least half an inch for the lesser parts of the storm. As we take a look outside, what we can expect tomorrow, some AM clouds along San Francisco Bay Area, nice sunny down in Los Angeles and in Phoenix. We have partly cloudy conditions over Denver. For Denver, Saturday much cooler, but Sunday will be your warm day and just that storm for the entire Pacific Northwest. As we take a look at those weekend forecasts for everyone, here's what we can expect. 50s along the Pacific Northwest, upper 60s to those low 70s around the San Francisco Bay Area. Nice mix of those 70s in Los Angeles. Nothing but sunshine in Phoenix. Ooh, 90 in November. Can you believe it? And this is just an interesting weekend for all of our folks out there, Crystal.
All right, that's Devin Truby down in KTVU's Weather Center. A team from California is headed to Jamaica to help with the Hurricane Melissa recovery. The Los Angeles County Fire Department deployed an elite urban search and rescue unit. Melissa was one of the most powerful storms on record and left the island nation devastated.
This highly skilled international search and rescue team includes firefighters, paramedics, canine search teams, a physician, and structural engineers.
The LA County crew will spend 2 weeks in Jamaica focusing on locating and rescuing victims trapped in collapsed buildings. This is a critical mission as rescue efforts are being made more difficult by impassable roads and communication blackouts. Well, how much energy does artificial intelligence need to run? More than one might expect. Coming up, why the technology is causing the construction of a new natural gas plant in Arizona. And 28 new Starlink satellites in orbit today. SpaceX shares images of its 100th Starlink launch of the year.
3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Well, SpaceX put 28 more Starlink satellites into orbit today after this launch from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. This is SpaceX's 100th Starlink flight of 2025. The satellites are designed to bring high-speed internet service to rural and remote areas across the globe. And artificial intelligence is a big reason for the construction of a new natural gas plant in the West. Arizona Public Service executives say the Phoenix, Arizona facility will be known as the Desert Sun Power Plant. They believe more power is needed due to the expansion of AI use, and they say small AI data center uses 40 to 60 times the energy of some big box stores.
This is unprecedented from a load growth standpoint. We have never in the history of our company seen customers asking for energy that would require us to more than triple the size of this utility.
Construction of the new plant is expected to begin in 2028. And it's time to fall back once again. Daylight saving time ends at 2 o'clock Sunday morning, with most of the West falling back into standard time. Now, many people enjoy moving their clocks back for that extra hour of sleep, but medical experts warn time changes can actually have a harmful impact on our body clocks. We spoke with a Stanford University sleep medicine professor for more insight.
Most of the studies have found that when you do this kind of shift in the fall, there doesn't seem to be much of a problem in terms of the medical outcomes. It's in the spring, where you both move an hour and lose an hour of sleep, that you seem to have these kinds of medical outcomes, which is mainly increased risk of car accidents and increased risk of cardiovascular events, so heart attacks. Now, you should really note that the risk to any individual is really quite small.
Well, just another reminder, daylight saving time ends at 2 o'clock Sunday morning, so just remember to turn those clocks back before you go back to sleep tomorrow night, excuse me. Thanks for joining us tonight. You can stay up to date on all the stories we're covering online. Just go to westcoastwrap.com and stream all of our shows on your smart TV. You can also download the Fox Local app. If you're watching us on the stream now, you already have it. Have a good night.